All right, everybody. Welcome to this month's Roundtable. My name is Angelique Manette, and I am the Ishkote Roundtable Commissioner.
And I'm Esmeralda Bonk, and I am the Wapilanaswa Roundtable Commissioner. And
I'm Steven Schmelzer, and I'm a Roundtable Commissioner in training.
So welcome. We're excited you're here. We have a nice big group tonight, and we're going to go ahead and get started.
all right, here we go. If I can get to here we go.
Those in uniform, please salute. Those who are not, put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
All righty.
As a side note, if anyone would like to record any of these with your troop or your pack that we can use in Roundtable, let me know, and we would be happy to feature them in Roundtable.
All right, moving on to our prayer. Please prepare yourself in the manner you feel most comfortable with. Our prayer today is from the Boy Scout and Girl Guide prayer for the environment. Dear Lord, help us to take care of the fragile earth. Help us to prevent the destruction of wildlife and to save those who suffer. Help us to always do our best and use the things we are given in the right way. Help us to help the world become a good and safe place to live. May we always be ready to help those in need, whoever they are and wherever they may be. This is from the UK Scouting Prayer. Side note, all these prayers that we present at Roundtable are available if you're interested in any of them to use with your chaplain's aid. So they're not always the same ones over and over again. So if you need something else, we've got you covered. Here we go. Info minute, Angie.
All right, info minute, strap in. We've got quite a few. This is a reminder that your hazardous weather training expires after 2 years, and all contact leaders are not considered trained until they've taken the hazardous weather module. In other council training event news, we have an introduction to outdoor leadership skills coming up. As we do a Scoutmaster position specific, the indoor part, which you can also take online, but if you prefer to take it in person, it's coming up on April 2nd. Wilderness First Aid is going to run April 14th through 16th, where they already have enough people to run it, I believe. So sign up if you want to make sure you get involved with that. And then we have Blue coming up April 22nd through 23rd. FOS, if you haven't already, please invite an FOS person out to your troop or pack. FOS helps pays for basic council and camp operations, like very basic services that we offer at Rainbow Council. Without FOS, we would have to charge you money. So right now at Recharter, council only tax on a couple dollars to each and every person. Some councils pack on like $100 to $200 per kid. We don't have to do that because we have people who donate to FOS. However, should we not have people donating to FOS, we will eventually have to consider doing that. So please, please, please invite FOS to come to your unit and talk to your parents. Calling all Cub Scouts, there is an Easter egg hunt coming up at Rainbow Scout Reservation. This is the first time we're doing this. It's very exciting. It's $10 per scout, and then you get to take a photo with the Easter Bunny, and it is a rain or shine event. So come prepared. We can do that because we're scouts. We know how to be out in all different weather. NYLT, I'm going to turn NYLT over to our special guest speaker that we have. So I believe Abby Bear is here to talk to us about NYLT.
Hello, everybody. My name's Abby Bear, and I'm from Troop 732 in Frankfurt. This is just a little chance for, sorry. This is just a chance for me to share a little bit of information about this year's course. So I will be the SBL for the National Youth Leadership Training course this year. And the course will run from July 8th to 13th, which does not conflict with Jamboree. So if you have a scout who wants to attend training and is also already signed up for Jamboree, there is no crossover between the two events. So there is a possibility to attend both. If you're thinking about having a scout step into an SBL position or an ASBL position, or if they want to step into any type of troop leadership, having NYLT and having the knowledge that the course provides is something that is really beneficial for not only the scout, but also the rest of the troop. NYLT can help prepare for the types of experiences that they will be seeing as a member of troop leadership, and it can also help prepare them for the workforce when they enter it as an adult. I'm just kind of here to answer any questions that you might have about this year's National Youth Leadership Training course, because every unit deserves trained leadership.
If you have a question for Abby, just go ahead and chime in. All right, thank you, Abby, so much. If anybody thinks of anything that they would like to ask, please drop it in the comments and she'll respond. All right, thank you. Next slide, please. There is a Rainbow Council Combined Committee meeting coming up on the 28th. This is for all committees in Rainbow Council. All district committees are welcome to come to Rainbow Scout Reservation and talk to everyone and collaborate with each other. I believe that the topic, Rich is on here, I believe the topic is incident reporting. Yes?
That is correct.
Okay, so voice from Rich. We're going to talk about incident reporting and why it's so important and why it shouldn't be scary and why you should do it whenever there is an incident or a near miss. But we'll also be having time to meet as all the different committees. So it's a great time if you'd like to find out how to become more involved on the council level, to come and see all the different committees in action, or you just want to know how things are run. That's a great time to come also. Also coming up is Rainbow Council Key 3 Fireside Chat. So for those of you not familiar, a fireside chat with the Key 3 is having our council Key 3, the 3 people who make the Rainbow Council happen as far as leadership goes in the top, our council president, our council commissioner, and our council scout executive. We'll be there to answer all of your questions, any burning questions you have. They will be there and you are allowed to ask them. We are asking if you have a question ahead of time. They would love to receive it ahead of time so they can be prepared to answer it well. So there is a QR code that you can scan right there on the screen, and anonymously, I promise it's 100% anonymous, ask your questions of council. We will be at Lewis University, which is right across the bridge from Lockport office, if you're not familiar with that area. We are in the Charles Ives Recital Hall. So if you go all the way around, you go into the university driveway, go all the way around to the back of the campus, there's a recital hall, and we'll be up on the 2nd floor. We are trying to have a live feed as well, but we would love to see you there in person.
Everybody got the QR code?
Yeah, and parents are invited. All your scout adults are invited. It is for adults, but all adults are invited.
Yes. If not, always check out the Facebook page too, and that will be in there too.
Mm-hmm. All right, we have a council membership conference coming up. Melissa, would you like to speak quickly about this?
Sure. So our membership conference is going to be Wednesday, April 12th at 7 p.m. You do need to pre-register on for the Zoom link. I put it in the chat. So this is, have you started thinking about spring recruiting? Join us on Zoom. We are going to be actually interviewing several of our top performing units from last year's spring, fall, and winter membership drives to see what worked well for them and any tips and tricks they have to share and what they would do differently. So we'll have some nice question and answer sessions with our top performing units. And we're also going to be sharing some exciting incentives and resources available from the council membership team. So join us on Zoom April 12th.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, Fishing Derby coming up May 13th. Always a good time. It's in Wilmington. It is open for all age scouts and their siblings. So everything from cubs to venturing are welcome. And there is, I believe, yep, hot dogs are being served. And the patch for this is always super fun because it looks like a fish that hangs from your pocket. So sign up for that. Wapakon Lodge is having their spring ordeal weekend. This is in here particularly for those scouts in the troop level who were just elected or were elected in 2022 to be part of the OA. You can come do your ordeal. So registration is open for that. Dresden Merit Badge Clinic information just went out. So pass that flyer around to your troop units because it fills up quickly. Like last year, there are two options. There's just the Merit Badge Clinic only, or there's the all-inclusive weekend, which includes camping at RSR, transportation from RSR to Dresden, and all meals, and some cope and shooting sports activities as well. So it's a great weekend for the scouts. We opted for that last year for the first time, and we had a lot of fun. Wood Badge, everybody's favorite time. Every other year, we're talking Wood Badge, except this year, it is the 75th year of the Wood Badge program in the United States. The registration is open. We already have 5 people registered. You know you want to be the next person. Very exciting. This is open to all adult volunteers in BSA, and it is fantastic to take, especially as for all ages or all program ages, but especially for adults serving in Cub Scouts. I think it's particularly useful. It gives you a wonderful overview of scouting and the progression. So go ahead and register. We have several people who are on staff in this roundtable call. I'm sure any one of them would love to talk to you about Wood Badge. Leave No Trace Trainer is coming up. This is still fairly new for Rainbow Council. Leave No Trace Trainer is for adults and youth that are 14 years or older. Leave No Trace Trainer is both in the BSA and outside of the BSA. It's also its own organization. You are allowed to run Leave No Trace awareness courses and help teach things at Rainbow Council for Leave No Trace, in addition to your unit if you take the trainer course. This is a one night, this is overnight, so it's a camp out. There will be lots of hands-on activities and lots and lots and lots of guidance on how to teach fun Leave No Trace activities. So pass this along to your scouts that are 14 years or older and any adults who you think might be interested. And it is for sure running. There are already 5 or 6 people registered. And that's the end of the info minute.
All right, we have our Scout Law Point. Steve.
A scout is helpful. From the Scout Handbook, a scout is helpful. A scout cares about other people. A scout willingly volunteers to help others without expecting payment or reward. A scout is helpful.
Thank you. All right, our awards for this month is for all Cub Scouts, Scouts BSA, and Scouters is a messenger in peace. Not of peace, not in peace. Well, they can be in peace too. What is a messenger of peace? Well, it started in September of 2011, and it is a global initiative designed to inspire millions of young men and women in more than 220 countries and territories to work towards peace. Using social media and other scouting networks, the initiative lets scouts from around the world share what they've done and inspire fellow scouts to undertake similar efforts in their own communities. The initiative is inspired by the World Scout Committee, administered by the World Scout Bureau, and driven by youth volunteers worldwide. So to earn the messengers of peace, Scouts are already doing great things in their community. Through good turns in community service, Scouts are making the world a better place and spread a culture of peace. The Messenger of Peace program aims to highlight this work by supporting Scouts community service, encouraging Scouts to share their actions with others to help build a global network of service. If a Scout does a service action and shares it with others, they can earn a Messengers of Peace badge. The main goal is to inspire Scouts to continue their community service or to join efforts with other Scouts from around the world. You can earn the Messenger of Peace badge in 4 steps. Inspire. Explore and research about local problems, people in action, and good practices. Learn and decide. Identify your motivation and talents. Choose a field of action. Select useful knowledge, skills, and ideas to apply. To do. Plan your action. Execute, monitor, evaluate, and report. And then share. Share what you did, your experiences, outcomes, and learn lessons. For more information, you can always go into the myscouting.org for more information. Safety minute. Steve.
Campfire safety, right? Some things that we want to think about for campfire safety as we're getting close to camping season again, or warmer weather camping season. Additives to the fire are prohibited. This includes chemicals, accelerants, color changers, and other flame enhancing products like magic flames. Avoid cooking over a fire where chemicals or additives have been previously used. Always extinguish your fire properly. Ensure campfires are completely cold out. Do a test on cooled ash for any sign of heat before you consider the fire extinguished. Emergency responses for your fire. Never leave your campfire unattended. Prepare a unit fire guard and practice it. Always have a shovel or rake and water or other extinguishing materials handy. Be prepared to respond to burns or someone on fire with stop, drop, and roll.
All right, thank you. Membership minute, Melissa.
Hello, everyone. Melissa Rubik, Vice President of Membership. I'm going to put some links here in the chat. So for this month, let's talk about your focus on your managing your unit's official roster. March is often a time of great transition, and My Scouting has some tools to make it easier. For PACs looking to transfer their AOL Scouts to a troop, PAC T3 members can use the My Scouting roster to initiate the transfer. Note, the troop must allow online applications. Troop T3s will then be able to accept the transfer just like any other online application. This can also be started by the troop and the parents. For units looking to change leader positions, example, a den leader that's now stepping up as Cub Master or a committee member looking to take on an ASM role, the Charter Org rep can actually use My Scouting's Position Manager to make the change without a new adult application or waiting until recharter. There's some links in the chat about the Position Manager and those transfers. What about when members leave? Example, family is AOLs that don't bridge over to troop or den leaders that, quote, age out with their scout. Unfortunately, you can't just remove members from your roster in My Scouting, but council can. Simply reach out to our registrar, D. Heinzinger, and have them removed. This will give everyone a more accurate view of the unit, district, and council membership numbers. It also prevents any negative impact from those leaders who start to have their training expired.
Thank you. Any questions for Melissa?
I do. How do we handle out of council transfers?
That actually is possible now to do it. There is some helpful links in that transferring from one unit to another. It does tell you how to do it outside of council. It can be done online. So check out the links on how to do that, and you can select the council number. Keep in mind your BSA ID number. That sounds like a national thing. Is not. It's specific to our council, but you can choose your council and you can do those transfers. If things do get messed up and you wind up having duplicate scouting records, D can also help you merge those together. It's happened in the past. How it has to be done by a parent. Okay, I did not know that, but there you go. It can be done, but it still can be done online.
I was just going to say that because I did find the documentation and it does say parents have to initiate that. So, okay, I just wanted to double check with you. And then question, I had, what do we do about the Weeble twos that bridge over, but the pack somehow sent them over to us twice and we've already approved one. Do we reject the
so-
other one?
Do not. So here, I don't know what is going on with my dot scouting the last month. Somebody's messing with some wires somewhere. A lot of the applications got doubled and tripled. There's nothing you can do about it. If you accept it again, you get a new record. I don't know if it'll let you reject it, but I wouldn't, because I don't want you to ruin their current membership. Accept the first copy, and then unfortunately we have to wait 30 days for those other copies to be timed out by the system. There's nothing D can do. There's nothing the units can do. I don't know how it happened. I'm hoping it will stop, but I've got like 5 or 6 units that have 2 or 3 copies of some of their applications. Seems to be mostly on the youth side. I don't know how it happened, but it looks like it was not user error. I think it had to be the system, because it's so many units are having this happen right now. So if you are the ones initiating this, please be careful doing it. But if you're the ones accepting it, only accept once. And I apologize. This is the lovely system that we have.
Awesome. If you have any further questions for Melissa, you can go ahead and drop it into the chat.
Yeah, and I'll also put my email in here, and you can reach out to me too.
Awesome. All right, general topic, Cub Scout overnight clarification.
Yeah, so this is what I'm sure, this next couple topics, what I'm sure a lot of you are here tonight to get clarification on. There have been some really interesting things that people have been posting on social media, in all of the non-official forums. And you probably want to know what they all mean. Well, the first one that came up is, so just for everyone's knowledge, they update the Guide to Safe Scouting every year at the beginning of the year. And sometimes they change wording on things, and sometimes they add things, but you can generally expect a new copy of that to go out around the first of the year. In it, someone noticed that the Cub Scout, it's now listed, Cub Scout camping is limited to their council's designated locations with appropriate facilities. That is the same. That is the same as it had always been. They're just being a little more clear about it. So what that means is if you are camping at Rainbow Council or any council camp, you are fine. If you are camping at state parks, you are fine. If you are camping at KOAs, you are fine. It's when you decide to camp somewhere that is not pre-approved, like a campground that's new, or a private campground or someone's private property. That's when you need to call the council and get your site approved. It's pretty easy. We've talked a little bit in the past at Roundtable about what needs to happen, but it's just a couple things like you need to make sure there are some type of bathroom, some type of drinking water, and that emergency services, or there's a way to contact emergency services. This is not new. They're just making sure it's really clearly written in the Guide to Safe Scouting. Now, the other one that people are having a little bit of arguments on the forums is about Cub Scouts. It now says, Cub Scout pack unit coordinated camping is limited to single overnight experiences. Apparently, this is the way it has always been, but the way that it was written before was a little ambiguous. And so people didn't understand when they said Cub pack overnight experiences, they meant one single night. So they added in the words limited to a single overnight. So if you are going with your pack camping, you should only be going for one night. However, councils and districts can host Cub Scout camping events that are more than one night, because that is different than what a pack can do. So Cub Scout at the council or district level, they have a different set of rules, a very specific set of rules that they follow to allow multi-night campouts. Feel free to ask questions in the comments if you need more clarity on that. But those things are not new. They're just more specifically worded. All right, next slide, please. Okay, this was added into the Guide to Safe Scouting for I'm gonna just read it because hopefully you've seen it, but 2 registered adult leaders, 21 years of age or older, or over, are required at all scouting activities. That's nothing new. Including all meetings. There must be a registered female adult leader, 21 years of age or over in every unit serving females, blah, blah, blah. We all know that. A registered female adult leader, 21 years of age or over, must be present for any activity involving female youth or female adult program participants. What does female adult program participants mean? It means the 19-year-olds and 20-year-olds who are registered in venturing or other places in scouting or as assistant scoutmasters. It means if you have a female who is in OA, let's say, for example, who's 19, then you need to have a female adult volunteer there. It just because they're over 18 doesn't disqualify needing to have a female adult volunteer. All right. The other part that is causing some pause and causing some noise online, it says all adults staying overnight in connection with a scouting activity must be currently registered in an adult fee required position as listed or as an adult program participant. Limit exception below for Cub Scout overnight programs. Okay. It says, see the FAQ for lists of adult fee required positions, and registration as a merit badge counselor does not meet this requirement. The Cub Scout exemption. Cub Scout parents or legal guardians taking part in an overnight Cub Scout program with their own child or legal ward are not required to register as leaders. All adults must review the guide. In addition, the parent or legal guardian must be accompanied by a registered leader at any time they are with youth members other than their own child or ward. Okay, we're gonna break that down a little bit. This means any adults staying overnight at the troop level, we're gonna talk about that first. Any adults staying overnight at the troop level or in venturing have to be registered as adult volunteers with the BSA. They have to be paid positions. So there are a lot of people online who are saying, oh, it's a money grab. It is not, and I'm going to explain to you why. The lawsuit that happened, and that is being finalized, there are non-monetary requirements that they are requiring BSA to do in order to meet the terms of the lawsuit. And one of them is that everyone who stays overnight with the Scouts has to be a registered adult in the paid position. So that is one, we have to do it because that's what we are being told to do, and we should do because everyone needs a background check. Now you're asking yourself, why the paid position? So let's use a merit badge counselor as an example. Merit badge counselor is a free thing that you can sign anyone up for. As a troop leader, you cannot go check that merit badge counselor's youth protection status or registration status unless you go to a third party and go to council and have them check for you. In your unit, if you have an assistant scoutmaster or a committee member or unit scout or reserve member, you can see all of those things for yourself in your unit. So you can go yourself and verify that that person has up to date on all their training. So if you have people who you have registered as merit badge counselors because it's free and it's an easy way to register people whose training doesn't ding you in your troop, register them as a unit scout or reserve. While it does cost money to run their background check, they don't have to take any additional training that's going to count against you if they don't. It's just a way to have them organized under your troop structure. Okay, so that's a troop. On the Cub level, you are allowed to have a parent be one of the adults with their own scout, okay, with their own scout. You cannot have a parent be responsible for someone else's child. So you cannot take your friend, your best friend's kid with you on the overnight and be their adult. The adults do not, if they're a parent or legal guardian, don't have to be registered, but they can only supervise their own child in Cubs. So for the overnight for Cubs, only exception. Does anyone have questions about any of that? Is it okay to have only 2 female leaders for a Boy Scout camp out? Yes. We're not going to debate it. It's nothing we have control over. I understand why people ask that question. It is what it is. Any other questions?
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
Sure.
You said you're allowed to have 2 female adult leaders on an all-boy scout, I'm sorry, an all-boy troop overnight?
Yes, you are. The way that it is currently written, that is allowed. Where I understand everyone's concern. I understand why people get frustrated with that. It is not something we have any control over. It is allowed that way, unless your chartering organization says otherwise, because in the end, your charter organization can make more stringent rules. For PACs, this would also, okay, now the questions are coming in, everyone's brains are going. For PACs, this would also disqualify grandma, grandpa, aunt, or uncle being the adult chaperone with the Cub Scout. The way that I read it, it has to be the parent or the legal ward. So yes, that would be how I interpret it as well. For Cub Scout camping, if the parent or guardian can't attend with their child, the scout can't attend. Correct. Unless they are a Webelos or Arrow of Light Scout, and they are attending with 2 registered adult leaders from the pack as a den, because a den of Webelos or Arrow of Light Scouts can camp independently from their parents at a Cub Scout, as Cub Scouts. But you, at that case, you have to have 2 registered adult leaders to do it. Okay. I have a few more slides. Any other questions before I go on? Okay, next one. Okay, in the FAQs, they give some more examples. I'm an adult attending a pack, troop, crew, or ship overnight activity. Do I have to be registered? Yes. If you are participating and staying overnight, you must be currently registered in an adult fee required position or as an adult program participant, except unless you have the Cub Scout exception for parents or legal guardians. Okay, the next is, what is an adult program participant? We talked about that. That's a participant over the age of 18, most often between 18 and 20, who is registered as a program participant, in which youth members are also eligible to participate. Adult program participants are subject to the same youth protection policies and guidelines as adult scouters. Okay, and then what is an adult fee required position? And that is, there's a whole list in the document that Melissa has so helpfully linked, but pretty much it is any where you have to pay a fee. So not merit badge counselors. It does include committee members, but not non-functional committee members that aren't registered. So some people have a treasurer in their pack who isn't registered, and that person does not count. Let's see. Oh, and then lion cub partner, tiger partner does not meet that requirement. Okay. Next slide, please. Does a Cub Scout parent or legal guardian have to be registered leader to participate in Cub Scout overnights? No, they do not. However, they cannot serve as unit or den 2-deep leadership or supervision for other kids in the unit, for other kids. So if the den is there and it's one adult registered leader and every other kid has a parent there, you're good. Okay. How does everyone understand? All right. Our Scouts BSA boys troop and our Scouts BSA girls troop are linked and would like to host a joint outing or activity. Do we have to provide adult leadership from each troop? Yes, each troop is a separate unit, and therefore each troop must provide its own 2-deep leadership, meeting the leadership requirements outlined in Scouting's barrier to abuse. That goes a boys and a girls troop, that goes 2 boys troops, that goes 2 girls troops. Every troop has to supply its own too deep leadership. If there is an example of a summer camp where each troop has a few scouts, say you're going and you're going and each troop has like 3 or 4 scouts, and each troop is working together to get to summer camp. If you ask the scout executive, you may be able to get it written that you can have the units function together for that weekend as one unit and have 2 leaders, but you need permission to do that. Any other questions? I think that's the last slide. It's a lot. It's a lot.
As always, if these questions come up later, you can always reach out to any of us and we're happy to clarify for you or put you in the right directions on where to go for the answers.
Ryan just asked if there was an overnight campsite form to be approved. Yes, there is. I'll put it in there in just a moment, but we can move on.
Okay. That is correct. It is our breakout session time.
Okay. I gotta make 2 rooms. Hold on.
In the meantime, did you know that yesterday was International Women's Day? Make sure, and then the whole month of March is Women's Appreciation Month. Appreciate the women in your area, especially those scout leaders that do a lot of work here. Sorry, Angie.
All right. Excellent stalling. I made 2 rooms, and you can go to whichever you prefer. We are going to be talking similar topics. It just is a matter of which one you want to see it from the cub perspective or the troop perspective.
Awesome.
Assign yourself, and if you need help, we will bump you there. Just shout out that you need help.
Want to find other great and fun, exciting places to camp with your pack or troop? I'm sorry. Not sure what you can do at your camp house once you arrive. All right. So with some of those, let's just start with that first one. Have you ever had to find a place to camp and couldn't figure out where to go? So does anybody have places like how they determine for a weekend camp out how far they would go? Like, do you take a pin and you drop it on a map and you go 2 hours out from that pin? Things like that? No?
This is the
We
part.
mainly take a look at the calendar and see if it happens to fall during a holiday, and then we say, okay, we can go a little farther if we've got like a day off.
Right. Okay. That's a good one. So like if you're gonna like right now, my troop's got a quick weekend, and it's going to be an overnight one because it's our crossovers first camp out, generally without their parents. All right, so we're doing a close in one, something close by. It's only a half hour away, just in case they have a case of the homesickness or scared, right? And we need mom and dad to come pick them up. Now we also plan like other camp outs that are a little bit farther away, but for a weekend one, for generally just a 2-day one, my troop only likes to travel a maximum of 4 hours.
We've done 5 hours for the weekend.
You're braver than me.
Let's see, someone else put going to Tomahawk Scout Reservation for snow base is well worth the 6-hour drive. Power to you for a weekend.
How long were you at?
No, too.
Oh, wow.
Feel free to unmute yourselves and add to the conversation, everybody. This is the roundtable part where we're going to talk.
And just to let you know, snow base was only one weekend.
So just 2 days?
We got there Friday night. We cheated a little. One of our scouts was homeschooled. I pulled my kid a little early. The other 2 scouts also got pulled out of school a class period early. So we got there at 8:30 at night instead of 10. But wow, do they run a good winter survival program.
All right.
And they do it in January and February, and it is booked solid. I've I'm sorry, I just got to give them kudos. It was well worth the drive all the way up to Tomahawk. And if people are asking, where's Tomahawk? Their council is, I believe Duluth is where their council headquarters is. And fortunately, it's this side of Duluth, but not by much. Oh, by the way, this is also not a camp out for your first camp out. Okay, let me make sure. Don't bring your first, don't make that the first camp out for a scout. It's not for them. Okay. They do have indoor facilities, but this is more for your second and third year and older scouts. We took our venturers up there and wow. I'm sorry. Let me let you guys get back to work.
So let's see, in the comments, we drove to Air Force Museum in Dayton, Ohio, 5.5 hours. We did that too. That was so worth it. That was super fun. Anybody else? Where's your max weekend drive that you've done with your troop?
Our troop is checking out the St. Louis City Museum coming up in May. They had it booked, the museum used to let them do overnight, so we had it booked for March of 2020 and they canceled on us. So we're gonna try it again. We're driving down, there's no museum overnights. They're gonna do, there's a scout reservation nearby. So we're gonna stay there, do the Arch, do a history museum, and do the St. Louis City Museum for the weekend. So I think that's about 8 or 9 hours from here, right?
St. Louis, 5.
Not
5?
quite. It's 5.
Okay.
It's fun. We did it too. There's also a state park that's not far from there for camping. That was really nice too.
So the zoo is free too.
Yeah. I don't think they're gonna be able to squeeze that one in because they're doing a whole day at the museum, but should be a good time.
We did Mammoth Cave in November on a 3-day week. Yeah, it was on the way back.
Wow.
I think it took us longer to get back than it did to get there. We did a Friday since the kids had school off Saturday, and we drove back on a Sunday. We woke up to snow and ice on our tents.
Nice. That's a haul. That's like 8 hours, isn't it?
It felt like it.
Yeah.
No, it was a little over 6, but coming back, it took us an extra hour because we just kept stopping.
Awesome. In the comments, Bay Area Council's Whitewater Weekend in the spring, 5 hours of driving to get to Gardner Dam Scout Reservation. Also highly recommended. I've seen that. That looks fun. Karen, did you have one to add?
We did an 8-hour trip to Kentucky, but it was the indoor kayaking cave, which we left early on a Friday and we got back kind of mid to late Sunday, but everybody had said they'd do it again in a minute.
Awesome. Awesome. Little crazy, but those are sometimes the more memorable trips.
Those are great. We usually try to keep it within around 3 hours or so for Friday night leaving time. It gets us there by 8:30, whatever. And most of the parents are more comfortable with that kind of thing. Of course, we'll go crazy with summer camps and things, but
sure.
Right.
I think a big thing is our troop too is depending how much the scout wants to do that activity. If we have to drive that far to make it happen, we just make arrangements for that, but it all depends on how bad the scouts want to do that.
Sure.
We also, my troop with longer destinations or bigger themes like that, we go, are you willing to cough up the money for it?
True. So we talked some about the far trips that we've taken. What are some of everybody's favorite local places to camp? Because I recently found out, and I'm not going to say where because I think he wants to keep it a secret, but Brian there in the comments has a secret place south that we discovered to camp. So where is everybody's favorite places locally?
We just found one real close. I think it was Camp Sullivan.
Okay.
Oak Forest, I think it was.
yeah, we're going this weekend to Camp Sullivan. It's with
Our
the little
kids had a
guys.
blast. They loved
it's a good way to do that.
the cabin and everything. It was perfect.
My troop uses Sullivan to do our ILST in December.
Oh, nice.
Our go-to in Shanahan is the state park that we can always just jump on the hiking trail and go.
Right. So Shanahan, my trip uses Shanahan, and we do a bike hike in November at that one, as well as it's our Weeblos introduction.
It's a great little campground too. It's right there on the river and the I&M. Okay, I know which one you're talking about.
Yep.
And morel hunters, I won't tell you that they're there.
Nice. Has anyone done Bullfrog? Camp Bullfrog? They have cabins there too.
How are their cabins?
They're just like Camp Sullivan.
Oh, that's even closer.
Yep. What else? Everyone goes to RSR? Which is, I mean, that's not a bad thing.
My troop, we're gonna go experience not this time, but we're gonna go experience. There's a campground that's a boy. It's a scout campground that's in downtown Naperville. And for the life of me, I can't remember the name of it. I'd have to go look at my calendar.
Von Oven.
Von Oven, yes, you are correct.
Oh, that's right. Okay. No, I've never been there.
I did the Cub Scout day camp there in the 80s. It was a lot of fun.
It's super easy to drive right past.
Sure, I'll do that.
Yorkville, if anyone's not familiar, Yorkville has both cabins and campsites at Silver Spring. No, not Silver Springs. What's the name of it?
Camp Hoover.
Camp Hoover. Thank you. It used to be a Boy Scout camp, and the fun part is if you go, you can still see they have like some of the buildings still have fleur-de-lis on them. And there's an old pool building that's not used anymore. But the facilities are really nice campsites. The bathrooms are heated, which is lovely. Let's see what else we got in the comments where Sullivan and Bullfrog are. Where else? I can't help but notice that Brian's keeping his secret. I'm not going to rat him out on it because he asked me not to, but it's a good one.
Has anybody ever gone camping with a theme for the weekend?
Yes, tell me your best themes.
Like, you're gonna do it as a cast iron weekend where it's like an Iron Chef challenge. You tell
We
the
actually have
scouts.
one coming up. We have a patrol cooking challenge one.
Nice.
We have one coming up that it's gonna be roll the dice to see how you have to make the food.
Ah,
That's fun.
We did a luau theme in October because we all wanted to be at the beach.
That's fun. Apocalypse, no tents. Oh, that's fun too. Apocalypse camp out with no tents. The gadget camp out. We got to make camp gadgets to do everything. That's fun. Gaming camp out. Was always popular. Lynn says fishing camp out.
Our troop does a bike and hike, so they'll do they'll try to work on to getting the biking merit badge and doing the long bike treks and doing the long hikes as well to work on the hiking merit badge in one weekend.
Forgot, we actually have one this weekend. It's our skills camp out for our Weeblos that are crossing over to help them get their toting and their fire and shit.
good weekend. Snow on the ground.
They'll be at Lawton in a building, so they got lucky.
Oh,
We do in December for their Christmas party. We rent a cabin and let them bring all the electronics they want to bring and have like all the video games they want to rot their brains out with. And then the Scoutmasters cook the meals for them. So that is their Christmas, their December fun camp out. Shooting and camping at ISRA. Okay, cool. What else? I'm trying to think.
So my troop wants to, as scoutmasters, we're still trying to figure this one out, but they want to do a capture the flag at RSR, but they want to have somebody at White Pines and somebody at Morning Star. So they want us to separate by that much, and then just have the whole campground run amok. And we're going, nope. I already talked to Tommy. He said nope. You can have Raccoon Run and White Pines and do that, but it's a 24-hour thing that they want to do.
Kevin, you put in there Wakanda and Peoria for our end of the year. Tell us about that. Did your mic come on? Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, that's a tradition for 466 every year in December at the end of the year. We go down to Wakanda. I can't remember what the Boy Scout Council is down there. But it's a cabin one that I usually put my cot right next to the stove because I freeze to death. And then the boys are there's a second floor in the big one. So they're all nice and warm where all the heat goes. And if it's usually a goal that's set at the beginning of the year, everybody together has to get X amount of merit badges or X amount of ranks. And if they achieve that goal, then it's free and the adults do the cooking.
Oh,
So it's kind of like a goal one for them too. So
that's clever. I like that. Let's see. We see in the comments, Kayak Morris, always fun. Yeah, Kayak Morris is right in Morris, not far from camp. You can camp right on the Illinois River and then go kayaking. Close camp out at Goodnow Grove. Yeah. I do with my troop. We've done a outdoor ethics weekend, which sounds like, oh no, that sounds horrible and boring, but it's not. It's super fun. We learn lots of things like how to dig cat holes, which I promise you every teenage child will be very interested in because you're teaching them about things related to poop. So digging cat holes can be a fun experience. Okay, what else? What else topics do we have to talk about? Steve, what do you got next for us?
Well, we got our favorite places we already did, our maximum travel time.
All right.
Can anybody name 1 to 2 places within 2 hours? Which I think we've gone through that.
We've named a bunch, yeah.
We did our theme. We tried to cover theme. Does anybody else have any other ideas for themes? Like another one that everybody remembers the show Squid Games, right? My troop kind of wants to do something similar to Squid Games out there, but it's like you get eliminated, you have to go tie knots.
Nice. Skiing weekend. Yep, we did a skiing weekend. I forgot about that. Skiing weekend, climbing weekend, place by Starved Rock that has a campsite and kayaking right on the river. That's Kayak Ottawa or Kayak Starved Rock. It's the same people that own Kayak Morris. It's a good one too.
And by the way, when you mentioned Squid Games, I got a little pushback because originally the adventurers wanted to do something called Squid Games, and there's a little pushback on it. Okay. But one of my friends in another council did the same thing, and they called it the calamari.
Calamari games.
Awesome. Sandbar camping in Wisconsin River. Yeah, my scouts want to go island camping. So trying to find an island in Illinois for them to camp on has proved to be challenging. So that's something we're working on. Sandbar camping might scratch that itch for them. All right. So before we run out of time, now is the time to ask your burning questions, and Steve and I will attempt to answer them. South Manitou Island. I'm gonna have to look those things up. Any other questions? They don't have to be camping related. No questions?
Oh, I like it when they keep it easy.
I like it when they challenge me. Throw me a good one.
Is there any talk about fees going up again?
Fees, yes. So the fees, they warned us 2 years ago that they would go up in small increments for the next 5 years. So we are on like year 3 of that. So I would pad your budget right now. We don't know what that number is, and I just was party to a conversation about that. They have not decided, but I would imagine it would go up by a few dollars like it did this year, and it will continue for the next couple of years.
Question, with that change for the adults effective in September, if I read that right, September 23,
Yes.
that's like right before recharter.
So,
How would
yeah.
you best explain for us, what would be the best practice for us to do this?
I would let anyone who you are right now using as a registered adult leader, as your second adult or first adult for campouts or for meetings, let them know now that this is coming in September. So in my troop, I only had one adult who wasn't registered. So the troop is eating the cost of registering that adult for this year. And then we've built into our fee structure to just pay for the adults in the unit. So every troop does it a little different, but I would socialize the idea now with any adults you're using like that as your adult leader, that they can register, they need to register in like unit scout or reserve, and that it's going to cost money to register them in the future. That's the best advice I've got. And then if you feel bad about doing it, we charge dues. Our dues help pay for the adults.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions? No, you're easy tonight. All right. Well, then that's it, I guess, right? We'll see you next month. Hopefully, I think we should be in person. Hope to see you all at the council key 3 meeting, fireside chat. Otherwise, we'll see you next month.